Interest rates continue to be elevated here in the United States and of course in Reno-Sparks. Let's take a look and see how that's affecting our real estate market here in Reno-Sparks and all of Northern Nevada for the month of April 2024. Let's take a look. So it looks like we did drop a little bit in median home price for April from March. We went from $575,000 to $565,000. Now, I wouldn't go jumping up and down if you're a buyer thinking prices are coming down. It's a very different story for each price market that we're in. So we're going to get into that a little bit deeper. But let's take a look at the previous 13 months here and kind of, we've been on this basically in these 500s for quite some time now, and you can see that we're up a little bit from last year. We're up a little bit over 4.5%, so that's good news. If you are a homeowner, you should have some equity a little bit in the last 12 months. Now, one of the things I have a conversation with any seller before we list our home is how fast the home is going to take to sell. And first thing we look at is days to contract. From the day we put it on the market to the day we accept an offer, how long should we expect? And right now for Reno and Sparks single family homes, that's 11 days. You can see that's actually the fastest we've had in the last 13 months, and pretty quick as of recently. So there is a lot of demand out there. Now, here's where things change a little bit. You start to look at the different price points, and you can see where we are with all these different price points out there. You can see in the $400,000 to $500,000, it actually dipped down to under a week now to have a home accepted, to get an accepted offer. This is also important for the buyers out there, because if you're a buyer, how fast do you have to move on a property to make sure someone else doesn't come up and snatch it up before you? There are homes going in multiple offers, especially in some of these price ranges where you see them moving pretty fast. Now, a lot of what is driving this still is the inventory. You can see the inventory on the gray bar there. It did go up a little bit, so that's good news. We're seeing inventory start to increase, and we saw those new listings come up too. So we're seeing stuff come in the market. So the black is the sold, the red is the new listings, and inventory is in gray. And so you can see everything's kind of starting to go up a little bit, and that's good news, but it's not enough to outpace what we need. So even though our sales are a lot lower than pre-COVID and all the other times, so I'll get that out of the way real quick. And we're actually on pace so far for 2024, January through April, to have less. We've had less sales in this 4 months than we did in the first 4 months of last year. So a little tidbit, it was about 20 homes less or so, but kind of interesting to track our different markets, but still way less than we've had previous years before that, and pre-COVID, of course. But let's look at it in a scale. So we have less buyers, but our inventory is extremely low as well. In 2019, we had about double the amount of homes in April. So April 2019, we were about sitting right around 1,200 homes or so, little in the 1,100 range. So very interesting. Inventory is still low, and that's because interest rates are affecting our market. Sellers do not want to give up that interest rate and trade in their 2.5–3% interest rate for maybe a 7.5% interest rate. Taking a look at where our inventory path has just been in the last 13 months, and you can see we finally are kind of coming out of that low point there from 508 to 569. So that's good news. We're seeing a little bit more homes come to the market. So in winter, right before winter, we see it kind of ramp up in the fall and stuff as the end of summer happens, and then winter dives down. And of course, it's starting to come back up, and we'll hopefully see that climb for a little bit longer. Now, taking a look at the inventory and what homes are available in your price point and how that's been changing recently, you can see which ones have actually gained a lot more inventory. And what's interesting is look at that 1.5 million range, actually increased 21 more homes in that price point. So very interesting to see that. You can see some of the other price points may not have gained as much. I mean, if you look at the 500 to 600,000, they gained 2 homes. So not a lot in some, but some definitely more extreme. Look at the 750 to 999. from 87 homes to 110 homes available. So there are options out there, and this is just showing what's captured in a moment. It's not factoring in what came on the market and what's pending already. Now we take a look at the month supply of inventory, and we're looking at that in the last 13 months, and you can see the last 2 months we've been 1.5 months supply. Now, in real estate, we call that a seller's market. If you look at statistically, if it's below 5 months, it's considered a seller's market. Now, in a lot of the markets, I would consider it a seller's market, but it's a seller's market if it's priced correctly. Sellers can't afford, buyers are more picky in making sure the home is priced appropriately. They can't afford to overpay on the houses anymore. When interest rates were low, it's like, okay, an extra $20,000 at a 3% interest rate isn't going to change a whole lot. Once you factor in a 7%, 7.5% interest rate, it changes a little bit more for people. So we're seeing a lot more people that are jumping on those appropriately priced homes. So every seller that I meet with, and if I've met with you, you probably heard this, that's the kiss of death, is to overprice it just to see if we can get it. So while we've seen homes out there sell relatively quickly, we want the market to help us sell the home too. And if it's underpriced, the market should help get us over asking if that's the case. But you don't want, if you're wanting to sell quickly, you don't want it to overprice it and have it sit on the market. Because once you're on the market for a couple weeks, you're probably not going to see that price. Now, taking a look, and this is our kind of our forecasting slide, as you know, this is our pending sales by month. This is showing us what we're probably going to see close this month of May and maybe even a little bit into June. And what this is you can see 432 homes went pending in April, and it's a little bit more than March. We'll usually see this peak right around May and June time. So we'll see if we kind of continue to go up a little bit more. Hopefully we see a few more pendings. And you can see even last year it peaked in June. So that's usually the time we'll see that peak time. And if it continues, we'll see that and then start to slow down as we approach fall, which is crazy to think about. That's still far away from me. Now this is really telling, as I mentioned on the inventory section, how it seemed like some of the stuff was a little bit, it wasn't dispersed how you would expect it for some people. This one makes most sense of how it's dispersed because it's showing how many people are buying homes in this price range. So obviously the lower the price point, the more stuff that's in demand. So they're going under contract and there's a lot available. So there are homes available. Just because it might not be active today doesn't mean there won't be a home active and on the market for sale for you tomorrow. So this is why we make sure we have an agent such as myself to help you make that be ready to go at any given time. And you can see here that, look at that. I mean, 107 homes went pending in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. So very interesting to see there. And even all the way up into 1.5 million plus, you saw 23 homes go under contract. Now let's dive into all the different sub-markets of Northern Nevada, starting specifically with Reno. And you can see $572,500. And it did bump up a little bit from last month, but actually down year over year. So if you remember, the Reno-Sparks numbers was actually up year over year. But if you combine it with Sparks and Reno together, or if you just do Reno and separate them, then you're going to have it actually down a little bit. So inventory is up, so that is good news. You can also see now at new listings, of course, that is up month over month as well. And you can see median days to contract, only 8 days for Reno. So selling pretty quickly here in Reno. Heading to Sparks, $535,000, about stayed the same from year over year, or from month over month, up over 5.5% year over year though. If you look at your active inventory, 159 homes available out there. That is down though. We need it to go, we need that to go up. So from last month and last year, it's actually down. New listings, 137 new listings hit the market. That's good. And look at that median days to contract, only 13 days. So not as extreme as Reno, but still less than 2 weeks. Heading out to Fernley, we can see that price went down from last month, down to $384,495. Active inventory was at 77 homes available out there. I was just showing homes out there a couple of weeks ago, and there are some great new builds out there that have some great price points out there. So if you are looking for there, and maybe you want something a little bit newer and might be priced out of Reno area, Fernley could be a good place to go. And looking at the new listings, 57 new listings. Good news there, you get some more listings. And look at the median days to contract, higher than Reno and Sparks, 23 days, a little over 3 weeks. Our capital of Carson City went down over 12% from last month. If you remember, I've been pointing out, I'm like, I don't know why it was climbing up so high. And I think I said we were going to check back this month to see if it was going to continue that trend or kind of reset. And it looks like it reset. So that's good, because I don't know. It wasn't a healthy ramp up. And so 495 is where it's at for April, and probably a more appropriate point versus it was in the, I can't even remember, but it was some mid 500s or something around there. So pretty crazy there. Active inventory was at 85 homes in Carson City with new listings at 62. And look at days to contract there, 26 days, went up a little bit. So it is taking a little bit longer, but still less than a month for those that are listed home in Carson City. And there are still homes selling in less than a week in Carson City. That is just the median, so half are selling faster than that. Heading a little bit further south to Gardnerville and Minden, $655,000 there. And of course, we have inventory. Did see that drop a little bit, and new listings at 69 new listings. Quite a little jump month over month. So that was good. I think it was really low for last month as well. That was another fluke weird number I remember seeing. And median days to contract, only 17 days. So they are moving there as well. We're going to close out with the Reno-Sparks condos and townhomes. So great opportunity if you're looking to maybe get started, aren't quite ready to make that single family home yet. And when you can get into there, we just watch those HOA fees for you, make sure that makes sense. But you can get some good deals out there. $365,820 for a median sales price for there. And you got some homes to choose from. 217 properties available in Reno and Sparks. And we saw 121 new listings hit the market last month. So got some new, fresh listings out there for you to look at. And it's taking about 4 weeks to get a home sold on average out there. So lots to think about. If you are curious and of what's going on in the market a little bit more, want to reach out, we can connect, talk about it. I'd love to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Reno, Sparks, or anywhere in Northern Nevada. Be sure to watch my other videos up here where Jeremiah and I do our mid-month mortgage updates, talk about potential interest rate cuts and things like that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.